Before you scroll, listen. If you've been trying to fix your life since January, and it still feels like nothing is moving, this isn't failure. This is the last pause right before the door swings open. Astrologically, we're in that threshold energy. The kind that doesn't ask you to push harder, it asks you to step aside. Because the message tonight is simple, your suddenly isn't waiting for more effort. It's waiting for you to stop blocking the route, to loosen your grip on how it has to happen so life can bring it to you in the way you couldn't plan. If your body's been tired, if your heart's been bracing, comment, "I'm ready to receive." Just those 4 words. And stay with me, because in a moment, I'm going to show you the quiet way we accidentally stand in our own doorway, and how to move without forcing anything. Breathe with me, Aquarius. I want to talk to you the way I would if we were sitting in a quiet kitchen at 2 a.m. when the house is asleep and your mind is still wide awake. Not racing, just alert, like you can hear the electricity in the walls. That is your gift, you know. You are an air sign with satellite vision. You notice patterns before other people admit there is a pattern. You sense the shift in a room the way some people sense weather. And because you see so far ahead, you try to build the bridge before the river even appears. But here is the tender truth that almost nobody tells Aquarius out loud. Sometimes your intelligence becomes a locked door, not because you are doing anything wrong, but because your mind is loyal. It wants to protect you. So it runs scenarios, it gathers evidence. It edits your hope, something safer, smaller, more realistic. It calls it being prepared. And I get it. I have lived inside that control room too. I used to think if I could just predict every outcome, I could finally relax. So I kept the lights on in my brain all night. I made plans, backup plans for the backup plans. Then I wondered why my life felt like it had no room for miracles. Here is what changed for me. I realized I was treating life like an email I had to answer correctly. Like one wrong sentence would ruin everything. And that posture, that constant bracing, it does something subtle. It teaches your nervous system that receiving is dangerous. That ease is suspicious. That good news always comes with a catch. So let me ask you a gentle question. When was the last time you let something good land in your body without immediately explaining it? Not analyzing it. Not budgeting it. Not rehearsing how it could disappear. Just letting it arrive. No explaining. No defending. Aquarius energy is often described as future-focused, but the water bearer does not hoard water. It pours. It circulates. It trusts movement. And right now, the medicine is not another prediction. It is a little more permission. Permission to be surprised. Permission to let the universe be creative with you. If you are over 35, you have carried enough. You have had to be the steady one, the responsible one, the one who figures it out. This is not a lecture. This is an invitation from one friend to another. Tonight, see if you can do one small thing that tells your system you are safe. Put your feet on the floor. Feel the support. Let your breath drop lower than your thoughts. And if you catch your mind trying to sprint ahead, just smile. Tell it, thank you, not right now. Because there is a different kind of power coming online for you. Quiet, magnetic, unforced. And when it starts to move, you will recognize it. Not by chaos. By the way your chest feels less tight. Keep listening. There is a specific habit Aquarius uses to stay in control, and it hides in plain sight. Keep listening, Aquarius. That habit is so ordinary it almost feels innocent. It adds up fast. It looks like a phone held a little too close to your face in the dark. It looks like a tab you keep reopening, as if the right notification could finally confirm you are safe. It looks like you polishing the same sentence until the sentence has no pulse left, just perfection. Not because you are vain, because you are trying to prevent surprise. You are not blocked. You are not cursed. You are not behind. You are simply standing right in the path of what wants to reach you with your arms full of plans. I see it most in people who have lived a lot of life. 35 and up, you have responsibilities that do not pause. You have bills, bodies, families, history. So your mind learns this trick: if I can control the timeline, I can control the pain. If I can control the conversation, I can control rejection. If I can control the outcome, I can control disappointment. But control is a strange bargain. It promises security, and then it quietly demands your aliveness. Maybe you know this moment. You refresh your inbox like destiny is hiding between 2 newsletters. You rewrite your resume again, not because it needs work, but because the rewriting makes you feel like you are doing something. You plan a conversation in your head, line by line, and you do not even notice your shoulders rising. You rehearse the future like a courtroom argument, hoping uncertainty will finally obey you. Here is the soft question. What would happen if you stopped auditioning for your own life? I learned this the hard way. There was a year I tried to outwork my fear. I filled my calendar with self-improvement like it was armor. Morning routines, productivity apps, vision boards, clean eating, new goals. I looked impressive on paper. And inside, I was tired. One night I realized I was not building a life. I was building a cage with gold bars. The door was not locked from the outside. It was my grip. So tonight, let me offer you one small, rebellious move. Before you make the next plan, make space for one breath that does not lead anywhere. Inhale, let it be simple. Hail, let your body feel that nothing is chasing you. Then say, quietly, I release the need to control the route. I keep the destination, not as a mantra to force magic, as a permission slip, as a way of stepping back so the universe can take one step forward. And when you do, pay attention to the tiniest opening. A coincidence, a message you did not expect, a calm impulse to turn left instead of right. Aquarius, you do not have to micromanage the miracle. There is another layer to this, though. Control is not just planning. It is attachment. It is insisting that the gift must arrive in the exact wrapping you imagined, or it does not count. In a moment, I want to show you how that attachment steals the very thing it is trying to protect. Aquarius, this is the moment where your mind wants to argue with me. I can feel it. It is so loyal to logic, so loyal to patterns, so loyal to being right, because being right once may have saved you from something painful. And still, there is a softer truth underneath all that brilliance. The universe does not only speak in straight lines. Sometimes it speaks in reroutes. Sometimes it answers you in a shape you did not recognize because you were staring so hard at the shape you expected. That is the quiet trap. Not wanting what you want. Wanting it delivered through a script so specific it becomes a contract. A certain title, so you can finally exhale. A certain person, so you can finally stop wondering if you were lovable. A certain timeline, so you can finally stop feeling late. A certain apology, so you can finally stop carrying the weight alone. And if life does not hand it to you wrapped exactly like that, you call it a no. You call it not meant for me. You call it another sign that you should not hope too loudly. But hope was never the problem. The cage was the how. Here is something I have noticed about Aquarius in adulthood. You are not afraid of change. You are afraid of change that makes you feel foolish for believing. You are afraid of choosing the wrong door and having to admit you were wrong. So you try to control the delivery, because then you can control your dignity. I want you to keep your dignity. I just do not want you to miss your life. Let me tell you a story that stayed with me. A man I knew was praying, begging for a better job. Not for luxury, for breath, for time, for a life that did not require him to disappear. Then the company cut his position, laid off, overnight. He called me and his voice sounded like someone had unplugged the lights in his chest. He said this is the worst thing that could happen. 3 months later, he was working from home with a new company. He was making more money. He was picking up his daughter from school. He was making dinner. He was present in his own house. The thing he thought was a collapse was a corridor. He did not get what he demanded. He got what he needed. And I know, Aquarius, your brain wants to say sure, but what if it does not turn out like that? That question is honest. That question is human. That question is also the doorway back into control. So here is a gentler question, one that does not trigger your defenses. What if life is not trying to punish you? What if it is trying to deliver you in a way your fear could not design? Detaching from the how is not surrendering your standards. It is releasing your grip on the steering wheel long enough to notice the road that is already forming beneath you. It is letting possibility stay alive. Tonight, if you can, write one simple sentence. Not a manifesto, just a crack of light. I am available for a better way than the one I can imagine. Then pause. Let it sit in the room with you like a candle. You do not have to force anything to happen. You only have to stop choking the moment with instructions. And when you feel yourself reaching for the script again, notice what is under it. Usually it is a tender need, safety, certainty, proof. There is another way to meet that need, a way most of us were never taught, not chasing, not controlling, receiving. Receiving is a strange word, isn't it, Aquarius? It can sound like a luxury, like something soft people do when their life is already stable. But you and I both know what adulthood in America feels like. It is alarms, it is deadlines, it is being needed by everyone except yourself. It is the quiet pressure to prove you are fine. So when someone says, just receive, your system might almost laugh. Not because you are cynical, because you have learned to survive by doing. And yet, here is the cosmic irony. You can be brilliant, disciplined, even spiritual, and still be closed at the exact moment life tries to hand you what you asked for. Not because you do not deserve it. Because your body does not recognize ease as safe. That is why receptivity is not a personality trait. It is a skill. It is nervous system education. It is learning a new language after decades of speaking only one. You were trained to push, to achieve, to keep moving, even when you are bleeding inside. You were trained to take pride in being the one who handles it, the one who does not need anything, the one who stays composed. But there is a cost to being the strong one. You start to confuse self-respect with self-denial. You start to treat rest like a reward. You start to treat help like debt. You start to treat joy like something you must explain to make it reasonable. And that is where the signal gets quiet. I want to tell you something I wish I learned earlier. Life often arrives as a whisper before it becomes a door. If you are exhausted, you will not hear the whisper. You will not see the door. You will just see more wall. I remember a season where I was so burned out, I could not recognize a good thing when it showed up. Someone offered support and I said, "I am good." A friend gave me a compliment and I turned it into a joke. A small opportunity appeared and I delayed until it passed, because my body did not have the energy to hold another change. That is the hidden tragedy. Not that you miss out. That you miss out while believing you are being responsible. So let us practice something that does not require faith in anything mystical. Just a small experiment. Right now, imagine your life as a radio. When the volume is too high, the music distorts. When the static is too loud, you cannot catch the message. Receptivity is turning the volume down so the signal can come through clean. Here is your moment. Put one hand on your chest, one on your belly. Feel the warmth. Feel the weight. Breathe in for 4. Hold the breath for a beat. Then breathe out for 6. Like you are letting yourself be carried. Do it again. Slow. Honest. No performance. And say to yourself quietly, you do not have to sprint right now. You are not falling behind. You are tuning the instrument. Let me ask you a question that might surprise you. If something beautiful arrived for you this week, would you know how to let it stay? Or would you instinctively push it away so you could feel in control again? Because this is what we are building, Aquarius. Not a fantasy life. A real one. A life where you can hold goodness without bracing for loss. And there is a reason this matters now. You can feel it in the air already. A new kind of momentum is gathering, like weather rolling in from far away. Not prophecy. Not hype. Just a season shifting its weight. And if you learn to receive before it arrives, you will not have to chase it when it does. Hear that shift, Aquarius. It is subtle, but it is real. January in America has a particular kind of noise. It is a marketing season dressed up as destiny. Everyone is selling a rebirth, new body, new career, new personality. Like you are supposed to reinvent yourself before you have even slept off last year. And if you did not explode into a brand new life on January 1st, you might have made it mean something about you. But real change does not move like an ad campaign. It moves like weather. Quiet at first. Then undeniable. That is why I want you to hold a different calendar in your heart right now. In Chinese lunar tradition, the year of the horse begins on February 17, 2026, not January 1. H letter 1 B0 letter 1 EDBN G D letter 1 EABN Do L letter 1 ECBCH Trung Q U letter 1 ED1C. Some astrologers also track a solar marker around early February, called start of spring, as another kind of energetic threshold. You do not have to believe any of it like a rule. Just feel what it gives you. Space, permission, a longer runway, because this is what people call horse energy, movement, momentum, heat in the engine. A sense that things do not crawl forward anymore, they gallop. And here is the practical truth, even if you are not an astrology person. When momentum returns, it usually returns fast. That is why the smartest preparation is not forcing the outcome. It is protecting your clarity, protecting your nervous system. So you can recognize the moment when life starts moving again, and you do not panic and grab the wheel. If you are over 35, you already know what it is to carry too much. Mortgage. Aging parents, teenagers, career pressure, health wake-up calls that arrive quietly, like a bill you did not open. You do not need another speech telling you to grind. You need something kinder, a strategy that keeps your energy intact. So let me offer you a gentle frame for this window you are in. Think of it like hibernation, but not the kind that makes you disappear. The kind that gathers power, like a seed underground, like a phone charging in a dark room. Nothing flashy, everything essential. And I want to ask you something soft but honest. Where are you still trying to force life to make you feel safe? Not all areas, just one. The place you keep tightening your grip. The place you keep checking, fixing, chasing, proving. The place where you tell yourself you are being responsible, when really you are just scared to be surprised. Now imagine, just for tonight, you give that one area a little more space. Not abandonment. Not giving up. Just room to breathe. Room for a different route to appear. Maybe it looks like you stop sending the extra message. Maybe you stop rereading the same worry. Maybe you let the answer come tomorrow. Maybe you choose rest over research for one evening, and you let your body remember what calm feels like. This is how you get ready for a season that moves quickly. You do not run at it. You become steady enough to receive it. Because the real gift of this year is not only what changes around you, it is what clicks inside you. And when it clicks, Aquarius, you are going to look back at everything you survived last year and realize it was not random. There was a pattern. There was a reason. There was a thread you could not see until now. Stay close. That thread is about to glow. Aquarius, let that thread glow for a second, because this is the part nobody posts about. The part that does not fit in a caption. The part you only understand when you are alone, washing a glass, and you suddenly feel it. A quiet click, not happiness yet, just meaning. Life rarely explains itself while you are inside it. It hands you the lesson first. It lets it scrape you raw. Then, later, when your heart is less clenched, it shows you what it was shaping. If 2025 hurt, I am not going to turn that into a motivational poster. Some chapters are brutal. They do not make you stronger, they make you tired. They make you doubt your instincts. They make you wonder if you missed the moment where it all went wrong. But I want to say something to you as a friend, not as a coach. You were not being punished. You were being trained in capacity. Not capacity to do more. Capacity to hold more. More love without fear. More opportunity without sabotage. More peace without guilt. More softness without apology. Aquarius, you asked for a different life. And sometimes the universe answers by changing the person who is going to live it. I remember a season when everything I relied on stopped working at the same time. The coping strategies, the distractions, even the old stories I told myself. I kept trying to negotiate with reality. If I do this, then please give me that. If I behave, then let it be easier. If I stay small, then do not take anything else. It did not work. And the moment I stopped bargaining, something loosened. Not on the outside at first. Inside. My chest. My breath. My need to prove I was okay. I started to see that my life was not attacking me. It was redirecting me. Have you felt that before? That moment when you stop arguing with what happened, and the room gets quieter. Like the air finally has space to move. That is where the chapter turns. Not because you earned a reward. Not because you performed healing correctly. Simply because you stopped fighting the reality you already survived. When the suddenly arrives, it will not only change your circumstances, it will change your relationship with yourself. You will notice you speak to your own heart differently. You will choose yourself without making it a debate. You will stop chasing love like it is rare. You will stop shrinking to keep other people comfortable. You will stop calling your needs too much. And you will look back at 2025 and realize, some things fell apart because they could not follow you forward. Try this, just once, like a small candle in the dark. Write one sentence. Maybe this was not punishment. Maybe this was preparation. Then do not rush to understand it. Let it sit. Let it breathe. Because there is one more instruction coming for you, and it sounds almost too simple. It asks you to rest again. Not as alignment. Stay with me, because the kind of rest I mean is the kind that changes what you attract. Aquarius, I want you to hear this without flinching. Rest is not a character flaw. Somewhere along the way, we were sold a story that if you slow down, you will lose your place in line. Like life is a crowded checkout lane, and you have to keep inching forward or someone will cut in front of you. But you are not in line. You are in a season. And seasons do not respond to hustle. They respond to timing. Hibernation is not quitting. It is conservation. It is what wise things do before they move. Bears do not apologize for sleeping. Trees do not beg for permission to go quiet. They withdraw their energy so they can return with strength. You can do that too. Not dramatically. Not by disappearing from your whole life. Just by refusing to waste your life force on noise. Because here is the real exhaustion, Aquarius. It is not always your schedule. It is the constant friction. The small battles you fight every day that nobody sees. The mental rehearsals. The people-pleasing. The explaining. The over-giving. The quiet pressure to be understandable to people who are not listening. There is a point where you realize, I keep lighting myself on fire to keep the room warm. And that is where self-respect begins. Sometimes getting out of your own way is painfully practical. It is not mystical. It is not aesthetic. It is a decision. You stop texting first for a while, not to play games, but to stop abandoning your own nervous system. You stop doom scrolling before bed because your brain deserves a softer landing. You stop saying yes when your body says no, because your body has carried you through everything and it is allowed to speak. You stop trying to fix someone who secretly likes the chaos, because you are not a rescue mission. You are a human being. I want to ask you something gently. Who benefits when you stay in survival mode? Because that is the trap. Survival mode can become an identity. It makes you feel productive, necessary, prepared, but it also keeps you braced. It keeps your heart closed just enough that you do not have to risk being disappointed again. Rest is not laziness. It is a signal. It tells life, I am not running. I am ready. And Aquarius, you are an air sign. You move through frequency. When you are constantly tense, your frequency gets crowded. When you soften, the channel clears. That is not superstition, it is physiology. It is how your body processes safety. So tonight, let us do one small sacred thing. Not a ritual you perform for the internet. Just something private. Something that reminds you belong to yourself. Put your phone down 30 minutes earlier than usual. Take a slower shower and let the water be your permission to release. Or sit in a dark room with one song. No multitasking. No improvement project. Just presence. You do not need to earn this moment. You only need to allow it. And as you do, notice what happens. At first, your mind might protest. It might reach for a task to justify your existence. Let that protest pass like wind. You do not have to obey it. Because there is a deeper kind of trust waiting for you. The kind that does not require perfect circumstances. The kind that lives even in imperfect days. That is what I mean when I say what comes next. It is already done. Not as fantasy, as orientation. Stay close, Aquarius. I am going to show you how to live like the answer is already on its way, without pretending you are never scared. Aquarius, I want to place this in your hands gently. It is already done, not as a spell, not as denial, not as the kind of positivity that tells you to smile through real pain. You are too intelligent for that. You have lived too much life for that. It is already done means something quieter. It means you stop living like life is holding your blessings hostage until you suffer enough, prove enough, or perfect yourself into worthiness. Because you and I both know how that story goes. You keep raising the standard. You keep moving the finish line. You keep telling yourself, once I fix this, then I can receive that. Once I heal more, then I can rest. Once I achieve, then I can be loved. And the truth is, Aquarius, you could spend your whole life earning permission you already deserve. For the person listening who is over 35, I need you to hear me like a friend who is not trying to change you. You have done enough. You have held enough. You have learned enough. You are not a project that needs constant improvement to become acceptable to life. What you are learning now is alignment. Not aesthetic alignment. Not brand alignment. Nervous system alignment. Soul alignment. The kind where your daily choices stop contradicting what you say you want. It is living in a way that does not block what is trying to meet you. That might look like you choosing honesty over performance. It might look like you keeping your word to yourself for once. It might look like you letting someone show up for you without testing them first. It might look like you letting the future be unknown without treating that as danger. I want to ask you something soft. If your life actually wanted you right now, exactly as you are, would you let yourself believe it? Or would you rush to become someone easier to accept? Aquarius, the water bearer does not pour from a mask. It pours from truth. And your truth is not too much. It has just been waiting for a safer room. This is your Aquarius transmission. You do not need to become someone else to be chosen by your own life. You need to be you, with fewer defenses, fewer rehearsed catastrophes, less obsession with how it has to unfold. Because the how is not your job. The how is the part that belongs to time and timing and the strange intelligence of life. What is yours is the posture of pause, the posture of release, the posture of receive. Pause like you are letting your spirit catch up to your body. Release like you are setting down the script you wrote to protect your heart. Receive like you are willing to notice the small signs first. The text you were not expecting. The idea that arrives like a spark. The conversation that suddenly feels honest. The quiet relief that tells you you are on the right path. And when it starts moving, you will feel it. Not like panic, like relief. Like the first deep breath after a long drive in the dark. You will not have to chase it. You will not have to force it. You will simply recognize it. Aquarius, if you have been waiting for a sign, this is the sign. Step aside. Let life come through. Aquarius, before you go, let me leave you with something that might surprise you. What if the thing you have been calling delay was actually protection? What if the pause was not empty? What if it was precise? Because when I tune into your energy right now, I do not feel punishment. I feel timing. I feel a door that only opens when you stop pushing on it. And I know that is hard for the part of you that learned to survive by effort. The part that thinks love is earned. The part that thinks peace has to be justified. But listen, you do not have to earn the right to be met by your own life. So here is my blessing for you tonight, Aquarius. May your nervous system remember what safety feels like. May your mind stop running disaster simulations at midnight. May your heart soften without needing proof first. And may you recognize your suddenly, not by adrenaline, but by relief. If this message found you at the exact moment you needed it, do me a favor. Comment one sentence, simple and true. I step aside. I am ready to receive. Whatever feels honest in your body. And if you are part of this Aquarius community, stay close. Subscribe not because you need more content, but because you deserve reminders that you are not alone in this frequency. There are so many of us learning how to stop fighting life and start flowing with it. Tonight, take one small action that matches this transmission. Not a big reinvention, just one aligned choice. Close the tab, send the softer text, drink water, go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Say no without explaining. Say yes out shaking. Trust yourself, Aquarius. You are not late. You are arriving, and I'll be right here. Because the next message is already on its way. And when it comes, it will feel like the light turning on in a room you forgot was yours.